Are we ready on now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the VertiMax VIVE podcast. I'm your host, Al Merez. And I really hope you are going to enjoy today's show. Really excited about it. We're streaming this on all of our platforms and all of our channels. So welcome to all of you that are joining us from Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or anywhere else that you happen to be tuning in from. Now, I'm going to mention this a couple times throughout our conversation today, but please, if you have any questions or have any thoughts or anything comes to your mind as we're going through this, please chime in, shoot us a chat. You can enter all your questions in there. Dwayne and I will jump in there and try to answer as many of those as we can. So please don't hesitate to fire them our way. Today, I'm bringing a good friend of mine and a great trainer to us from across the pond. His name is Dwayne Paul. I've gotten to know Dwayne a lot over the last couple of years as he's become one of our VertiMax Master Trainers. We were able to spend some time together over in Germany at FIBO, one of the largest fitness expos in the world, as well as when he came to visit us here in Florida at the VertiMax Summit last year. So it's always a pleasure to spend time with Dwayne. He's super passionate about what he does. In fact, he's so passionate about what he does. He flew to the U.S. to attend the very first VertiMax certification that we hosted up in D.C. back in 2017. So, but that's some serious dedication to your craft, mate.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, man. And Dwayne, I know you're super busy. You just opened up a new facility that we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes. But I really appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it as well, mate.
Absolutely, man. You have an interesting story about how you got into fitness and training. So please, let's just start off with sharing a little bit about you and your background.
Well, pretty much started at a very young age in the Caribbean, in Grenada to be precise, playing football, track and field, and basketball. And what I've decided to do is 17 years ago, I've moved to England to join the British Army. So during my time in the British Army as a bomb disposal operator, did that for 13 years. And then while I was there, I did my qualification and training as an instructor. Did that and decided after 4 deployments in Afghanistan, it's time to settle down, have a family. I got married the year before, 2015. I've decided, it's time to settle down and time to try something new. And that's where I've decided for my resettlement and leaving the British Army, I will pursue that into personal training. And that's where the journey started from.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't be the only one, but it's hard to believe that, you being such a nice guy, that you have a military background. Like, you get that often. I can't be the only one that feels that way.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, during my time, I think my trade helped me a lot. Because being bomb disposal, I think you got to be a bit to hold your nerves, right? You got to be very humble when you got to deal with some complicated stuff you may do come across. So it's pretty important that I had to, and to be honest, being Caribbean, I have a bit of a chilled out background, if I'm being honest.
There you go. You're on island time?
Sorry?
You're on island time, so you just chill?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's it's good now and again to just kind of chill out, keep the blood pressure level at a normal rate, which is good.
That's cool. So then there's just a switch that you flip on that when it's time to get to work, you get to work.
I'm back in here, definitely.
That's awesome. So, I really love the name Limitless Training, the name of your academy there. What made you choose that name? Is there any kind of significant meaning behind it other than the obvious?
To be honest, I was going through the process 2016 after moving from London. My wife and I moved up to Northamptonshire. We I've decided I'm moving away from mobile PT to looking at a facility. And I was lucky enough to secure my first facility at the Kettering Rugby Club, which is a local club, literally 2 minutes walk away from my home. And I spoke to the club. We got in there. We got into a bit of negotiation, and they was happy to give me the opportunity to set up my facility at their club. So then that's where the whole journey started. What you will name the brand, what you will call the club. And to be honest, that's a true story. I was sleeping. I was in bed sleeping, and I dreamed about the name Limitless. And I woke up because, during those period of time, everything going through your head, right? And people always tell me, in order to sleep during the night, just put a notebook and pen next to your bed, any information, write it down, go back to sleep. And Limitless came up, but it's just Limitless. It was not Training Club. And I've looked at it and I've wrote down Limitless, got up in the morning, saw the name Limitless. So I went on to Company House and I put Limitless, and we look at all different companies that have the Limitless name to it. And what I've realized when I typed Limitless Training Club, nothing came up. And I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to do a Google search. So I went on to Google, have a check, looked at Limitless Training Club, and nothing came up. So that's where I've decided, well, what I'm going to do is going to register the name of the brand before someone else passes away. And that's how I've ended up with the name Limitless Training Club, if I'm being honest.
I think it's great. It's limitless. It covers all boundaries. It covers all clients.
For sure.
It's kind of like the mind is the only thing that could limit you. I think it's really cool.
No, that's it. That's it.
And so, I know you're just opening up your second location. What kind of went through the process of the designing of it, and then what ultimately made you choose to go ahead and it's time to open up another location?
To be honest, we up at the club and we transformed 2 squash courts. So the up at the club had 2 squash courts. Nothing was going on there. It was not being used, and that's where I've decided to set up the first facility in 2 squash courts. And after that, I realized that the amount of inquiries we're having, and then when we come to like pre-season training, and we have so much of different sports and clubs and age groups asking for our pre-season training, we realize, we don't have the space. So what I've decided to do was to create a training platform, 12 meters by 12 meters outside of the facility. And that's where we did our overflow of training at that for pre-season. And I've decided, more and more when the winter is coming, it's colder, it's wetter, you got to be outside, and decided, well, it's time to look for a new facility. And one of my mates, which is a good friend of mine, dad worked at the local estate agent, kind of give me a bit of a hint that this facility is coming up spare. So I've decided, okay, what I will do is pretty much straight meet with the agent. And I was there, I met with the agents. The agents, showed me the facility. I decided, what? Yeah, I'm gonna go for that, sort of thing. And that's where we are.
Awesome, man. That's really cool. It's expanding and growing and opening up new doors is definitely a good thing. Especially in light of the situation that we've been in 2020 here. It's been challenging. Man, we got some questions coming in here. Let me go ahead and grab this first one. IT says or asks, what is the difference between Limitless Training Club and LTC 2.0?
So Limitless Training Club still is the umbrella branch, right? But sometimes when you speak about Limitless Training Club, people can get a little bit confused, okay? So what we did is we just put 2.0 so people know which location they need to be at, because the both facilities is so close, and we don't want some people going up to the next club and then where they should be at, Limitless 2.0. So it's still under the same brand, but it's just like a little bit of a nickname for the second facility. If I'm being honest, Limitless 2.0 is just a bit of a nickname for that facility.
We got to keep it clear. You got to keep people on the same page and understanding where they're going, right?
Absolutely, and don't confuse anyone. So pretty much that's where we are.
Now, is there different training that's done at each? Walk us through kind of how you do that.
So at the minute, we the 2.0, the new facility is more give a bit of a sports performance feeling to it. So the kit and stuff that we have here is more designed for more strength and conditioning, more testing, more data. So because we're working very closely in partnership with Perform Better UK as well. So a lot of the kits in terms of testing kits and stuff like that, we pretty much get it done at 2.0. So pretty much it's really bespoke to a lot of more testing and more performance, if I'm being honest. So whereas the next facility is more group training, more for pre-season style training for the players. So
cool. Yeah, I saw the 2.0 layout and then the 3D renderings that you had throughout the process. It looks really cool. Now, there's a stretch of turf, right? You have some where you can do some agility drills and
yeah. So how I've designed it is like a conveyor belt style setup here at the facility. So you come into the facility. So on the left side of the facility is your AstroTurf, but you have all your hypervolt kit, for your activation. You have your resistance band. You have all your myofascial release ball and stuff like that. And as you move along, you go through different phases. So you go into your soft tissue, mobility, movements prep, and then after that, you go to the bottom. You get onto your plyometric or your resistance work, a little bit of activation. We have the VertiMax at the bottom, that side as well for like your vertical jumps and so on and so forth. Then you move over to the right, you get like the squat racks. So we have the squat racks and then all the free weights. And then as you come further closer to the opposite side, you go onto your cardiovascular kits and equipment, and then you move on back to your recovery area and then back out to the facility. So every 15 minutes we can have a different group coming in, because while all your soft tissue movements prep plyo, first 15 minutes you move on to strength, we could have a next group come in and
rotate around.
Absolutely. So we have that conveyor belt kind of rotation style for the facility, and it's one of a kind. It's not really any design like that in the area, if that making sense. So pretty much it's good. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds it's got to be good for business, right? Because you could just start layering in those classes and just keep them all rotating in.
Absolutely, and it's pretty much. So that's where we at. That's what we're doing at the minute, and yeah, it's going really well. Good.
Is your programming mainly like small classes like that, or do you do one-on-ones or a little bit of everything?
And at the minute, mate, we just getting back into the flow of things, So we're still working. Our main aim eventually is to get all our small groups and start training. But again, with all that's going on at the minute, a lot of people are still nervous and coming to the gym and mixing with groups and so on and so forth. So we are dealing with small groups where we're dealing with one-to-one. As they come through the door, we just give them our service, to be honest, and it's and that's what we're doing up to just now.
So speaking of that, how has it been there in the UK? Are things just now opening up? Are people a little bit hesitant to dive right back into it?
We have it's coming together slowly, but again, there's a lot of up and down, because then we were allowed to crack on and just like small groups, because the amount of people you can have in a facility now goes by the size of your facility. So it's down to the meter of your facility and stuff like that. So at the minute we just go and we just stick into the government guidelines. We just continue to follow that and follow what they say. it's a lot more. We buy like the amount of sanitizing products we get in it by the stocks is like every 6 weeks. We going back and loads of yeah, it's a lot. But I think it's good because at Limitless we always pride ourselves on having a nice clean facility because being military, you got to be ex-military, you got to be like you got to be on top of your game in terms of so people come into the facility. I'm always cleaning. I'm always I'm not scared to get my hands dirty and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where we are.
That's interesting. Yeah, same here in the U.S. There's every state's a little bit different, but mostly there's some limitations on capacity to how many people you could have. If your gym is typically, your capacity is 100 people in the gym at once, you might be operating at 50% of that or 30% of that. And
yeah,
sounds like it's similar there, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Jesse, here we got another question pop in here. So Jesse wants to know, and then we'll dive back into some of the COVID stuff because I want to hear more about how it's affecting the UK. The biggest challenge you came across when opening your first facility, because we have a lot of our listeners and our viewers here are trainers that are looking to maybe open up their facilities. So what's one bit of advice or one thing that you saw that was your biggest challenge?
I think one of the biggest challenges is being able to, I think, create a good relationship with your supplier, because at the minute, you really want to have that guide on maybe someone to sit with you that have that experience on, creating and designing a facility. So my first facility was just get all the kit and equipment in and just open a gym, if that makes sense. And that was really challenging because, the position of all the kit and equipment, we never really was not in a really logical way, if that makes sense. So that was eventually we had to after it's like a lot of test and trials. So we had to move this to that place and that, so I think, anyone looking to open a new facility out there, I think doing a little bit of a homework and looking at getting a designer or one of the suppliers, they got like loads of these guys who can sit with you and help you design the facility and tell you exactly what will fit where. I think that will be the best advice I would give someone looking to set up their first facility.
Yeah, that's good. That makes sense. Those guys are the pros. They're talking to many, many different gyms. So they're going to already have dealt with a lot of the, problems or limitations that you may not be thinking of
For sure.
as a new owner. And so I know you work really closely with Perform Better UK, one of our distributors there in the UK. So they do a great job. They have all the 3D renderings. I saw what they were putting together for you for the new location, and they've done a great job.
Absolutely. And I have to give Ross a big shout out. He sat with me throughout this whole project. He came down with a measuring up. He went away. We sat over Zoom. Just decide all the bits and pieces. We came back again, remeasured. Make sure, and pretty much so. Big shout out to Ross at Perform Better UK for really sitting next to me on creating that brilliant facility we just opened.
Yeah, very cool. Big shout out, Ross. Good job, man. I know Ross. I met him a couple times, and again, he was at FIBO with us, so he's a great trainer too. And now he's getting into the sales and development and design. So, great guy for sure.
For sure.
Show him some love.
That's it.
So how about just the UK on a whole, with regards to COVID and some of the changes that you've seen? I think I heard 1,000 facilities in the UK have shut their doors or some just outrageous number.
To be honest, it's to see it out here. We on something called the Independence Gym Group, and to see physically people having to shut their facilities because the landlord will not give them a bit of a rent holiday, if that makes sense, because these guys have no incomes coming in and they still have to be paying for all the facilities and so on. They are constantly having to pay out for all the lease equipment and stuff like that because I have friends who lease their equipment for suppliers and say no money's coming in. I'm being shut down since the 21st of March. Could you help me? And their answer was like, well, if we give you a break, we'll be going on there as well, you know. So it's sad to see some good facilities, and some people I know personally have to close down their facilities, which is a good lesson for myself as well, because you know you got to keep something in reserve for hard times, and if something do happen again like that, you know, we wouldn't really get caught short, you know. But I really have to, you know, just shout out to some of my clients as well, you know, because you know they kept like the classes membership. They said, Dwayne, you know what, you know, you're a brilliant guy, your team is really brilliant. We'll keep going, you know. So they was able to continue paying the membership throughout that period of time, which is really good, you know. So some of my clients, you know, I really appreciate what they did for the brand. But we at the same time we were able to really keep pretty active. I've treated COVID as a bit of a deployment. So what I did, I've kept really busy, and what I did, I've decided to keep my clients busy as well. So what we decided to do, on the 1st of April, I've created a April challenge. So that challenge was so we got like all the people in the group. We have our own private Facebook page. So we got them and we said, okay, well, if you're cycling, you got to cycle at least 500 Ks within that month. And if you're running or walking or tabbing, you have to do 100 Ks, right? And I said, well, ideally, we would like to get to at least Cuba in terms of distance, in terms of Ks. And then everyone was on board, and we had a massive database, and we was collecting because at the end of the day, COVID, everyone is home. I got time, you know, I got loads of time. So I was create, you know, a spreadsheet, and we create that spreadsheet. Everyone that log in, you know, they put their time and they put a distance on, and we just got everyone through. So we decided to do the lockdown challenge, which lasted for the whole of April, you know, and we had 87 people took part in the lockdown challenge, and we got to a place in Africa, Botswana, 9,034 Ks. We completed with 87 people throughout that period. So you know, everyone had a reason to get up every day to contribute towards that distance we wanted to achieve, and we did well, and we had some really good feedback and stuff like that. And so you know, the positive from COVID was able to keep busy, and once we finished the lockdown challenge, I've done some other like charity events. So I've created some charity events for like the local clubs around here. We did like on the 25th of April, we did a 2.5 and a 25 challenge. So on the 25th of April, you had to do anything that, you know, it's 2.5 or 25. So we had people going out and do 25 miles bike ride, 25 Ks run and stuff like that. And what they had to do was contribute that money. So they had to give a bit of a donation through to the local rugby club. And in 24 hours, I think we almost like hit maybe close to £9,000, you know. Wow. So that was really sick, you know. Like everyone got on board, so excited, you know. And it's brilliant.
That's good, man. Those are great ideas, and that's a great way to stay connected to your clientele. A great way for you to give back to them, and for those that continue to pay, they feel like you're getting something out of it, and that's what you do. Like challenging times make you think and make you kind of get out of your box a little bit and figure out a way to grow, you know, personally and professionally, you know.
Absolutely, and that was phase one of COVID. Then phase two was the start of the project, the new facility. Yeah. So we stripped back that facility all the way back to the brickwork, and we spent 10 weeks on redoing the whole facility altogether. You know, so we had all the local boys who was not working at the time. So we had them in and was able to complete the facility in 10 weeks.
That's great. And having those good relationships that you mentioned earlier on, that proved to be valuable because they were able to help you through that during that time.
Absolutely.
It's good stuff, man. All right. Well, let's before we run out of time, I definitely want to talk a little bit about being a VertiMax Master Trainer.
Yeah.
But before we go, let's go ahead and another question here from Roger. Roger says, I'm a dad training 2 teenagers out of our garage. Any tips for a VertiMax training session? They play volleyball and track and field.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we're looking at, well, again, for looking at verticals, being in a garage, a bit of a tip is making sure that you have the right height clearance, right? I think it's really important because at the end of the day, it's whatever you can make do with the space you got, but again, safety is very important. But in terms of that, I think it's getting movements. I think we're going through a period of time where everything is just a standstill. So getting these guys, just with the VertiMax, just doing a little bit of loading and stuff like that, just working into different planes and movements, trying to keep moving, because as I said, it's very strange times, So at the end of the day, if you can take it outside as well, maybe take it out of the garage and place it on your drive and stuff, give you a little bit more space so you can improve for being like, as I said, volleyball, trying to improve your vertical jumps and stuff like that. Movements again for track and field, again, just trying to load in all the different type of planes is very important. And once you have that space where you can get at least 5 to 10 meters, that's perfect. Just keep going. And with VertiMax, with the app and stuff like that, it's if you know on the apps, Roger, maybe you can get on the VertiMax app. It gives you a lot of information, volleyball and track and field as well, where you can download, and it's like pretty much having one of the trainers on your phone.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So Roger, Dwayne mentioned the app. There's a lot of good stuff, and there's a whole volleyball program in there if you haven't downloaded that yet. And then there's speed drills and all kinds of track and field drills in there as well to help you out there. And congrats to you for having one at your house for your children. I'm sure they were getting a lot of use out of it as we were locked down and shut in. And one bit of advice I'll throw out there: if they haven't been doing a lot, though, ease into it as you get back into it, because
absolutely,
you want to start slow, right?
At the end of the day, it's all about safety. You can't just move from Xbox and shoot it. So you got, I think, for the first couple of weeks, just getting the muscles just moving, understanding the movements all over again, and just taking your time. And it's a gradual process to get back into it. Especially after been doing that for such a long while.
Yeah, and a reminder about the app too. If anybody's looking for it, you can download it on iOS, you can Android or your desktop. Just search for the VertiMax app. Online it's www.vertimaxapp.com. All right, so again, let's go ahead and hit on being a VertiMax Master Trainer for a little bit before we break. Let's just start off with telling the listeners what exactly does that mean, being a VertiMax Master Trainer.
Pretty much it's pretty unique, right? Because you're the subject matter expert in that piece of kit, and being back in the UK, we have a few. Chris came over, was able to go to like the likes of Tottenham and stuff like that. So much big clubs, with those bit of equipment, and not really sure what to do. I went up to London Wasps, which is one of the professional rugby club, and they got one sitting in one of the changing rooms, pretty much, without doing anything. With the master trainer behind my name, or being a master trainer, it gives people that little bit of confidence that that they're coming to someone who know what they're really doing. Because again, with all these what's going on out there, you're gonna get all these people that call themselves trainers, or call themselves master trainers, or call themselves specialists, but you got to go through that little bit of a grind. You got to go through that 8 hours of intense learning. You got to understand what it is, and being a trainer back here, it's very privileged to be a master trainer. But again, it's a good tool to have in your toolbox. We use it out here a lot because I'm so affiliated closely with rugby. My main business partner now is a professional rugby player. We're doing a lot of stuff like the scrum half passes and stuff, loading like the wrist and stuff. The ball. So we can be so creative with the kids, and that's being a trainer, subject matter expert. It's just like it's endless. You go there and you just continue. Just experimenting with it. I've spent loads of time rehearsing on it as well, because even though you're a master trainer, you still have to do your homework. You still got to, for sure, do your rehearsal, and so on and so forth.
That's great. Yeah, and again, us here at VertiMax, we get a little, still shocked at the number of people that just get the VertiMax and jump on it, or just put a resistance band around their waist and sprint and just do those basics instead of really experimenting and finding creative ways to use it.
Absolutely.
And so I think you're one of maybe 2 or 3 master trainers in the UK, right? And,
I think we got 4. We got
4 now. Okay.
We got one of that's Paul. I think we got Matt Redcliffe. He's up north.
Yeah.
As I said, we got Steph down south. I'm over to the east, and then I think we got Paul over to the west, kind of Gloucester side. If I'm being honest, I think it's four guys who Chris came over and worked with, and we got our qualification. Yeah. Good.
And then you work closely with Perform Better. Like, are they reaching out to you on advice or help? And
to be honest, me and Perform Better, we have a good relationship. Pretty much on the kit itself, we haven't really started to roll out some certification out here yet, which I think it's on the card. They know I'm ready because as I said, they just set up my new facility, so we have that relationship. So I'm just on the end of the phone for whenever they need to call me to really do it. But I think we do run some really unique, although it's not certifications, but we run some really unique training over here with the VertiMax. We have loads of netballers who pretty much need to do a lot of resistance training. So we had a national netballer a couple of weeks ago. First time seeing the kit, first time seeing the VertiMax. I think it's super awesome, So we have pretty much that little market of people that we really work with the kit.
That's great. Yeah, we're trying to, this was supposed to be a really big year for us for our development, our global expansion, but COVID had other plans for us this year. So we're kind of, pushing that back towards the end of this year and the beginning of next year to get back out there, hold some regional distributor meetings, bring some of our master trainers all together and kind of grow our brand. So, we had to put a little bit of a hold on that this year, but we're excited to get that rolling out again, hopefully next year.
Sure.
And so, just kind of your opinion on other distributors in other regions. Do you feel it's beneficial for those distributors to have a master trainer that they work closely with to help hold classes?
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, it's when someone, I personally think whenever someone bought that platform, I think it should have some type of learning towards to be, so that's like a sort of license towards before using the equipment itself. Because as I said, it's a waste if you have a bit of equipment and don't really understand it. So having trainers in Spain, in Italy, in France, I think it would just be a better thing for the brand in itself, and I think it's more awareness as well, because we have some good trainers, Jamie Velocity in Birmingham. He have a VertiMax now as well. Yeah. He's
some of his videos. Yeah, he's good.
Game as well. I think Jamie, being on top of his game, but I think he would benefit from maybe doing a course like that. For instance, we have other like some of the SNC at the local clubs, rugby clubs and stuff will benefit from that, because I'm taking those professional lads and doing my one-to-one work with them, and they go back and showing the mates, and they're like, oh, that's really sick. That's, I should be on that, sort of thing. So I think it's more awareness and, getting the brand out there. I think maybe knocking up some demos, maybe, teaming up VertiMax would perform better and taking it on the road for a couple of weeks, do a couple of campaigns.
Sure.
And just because it's such a versatile bit of kit.
Yeah, definitely. We do that a lot here in the US. We have IT's one of our guys. He's on the road a lot doing demos and showing people how to use it and supporting our community here. So that definitely goes a long way.
For sure.
Well, hey, buddy, I really appreciate it. Again, I appreciate everything you do for VertiMax, from being a master trainer to helping support us when we get into the Europe and places like FIBO, and of course jumping on the podcast here and sharing your wealth and knowledge with us, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Al. I really appreciate that, and looking forward to maybe seeing you maybe next year at FIBO. No, right?
I hope so, man. Hopefully this COVID goes away and we're able to get back out there and do some big things. So, hey, before we break, big thanks to all the listeners for tuning in. If you're not already following Dwayne and Limitless, please go ahead and get out there and follow them. They've got a lot of great stuff, and this new facility is going to have even better stuff coming up. Dwayne, just share all your tags for everybody so they can check you out. Yeah, no, definitely. And just before I go, just want to big shout out to a couple of my staff, here as well. These boys doing a tremendous job. We have Tom Williams, we have Tasker, we have Tom Avis. We have Charlie, we have Nala, sorry, and then we have our admin, Sonia. They're doing a brilliant job back here as well, pushing the brand. Big shout out to them as well. I really appreciate the work, guys. And that's it. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, everybody, thanks again. Everybody go out and have a great day. Cheers. All the best. Thank you.